The sky over Earth changed. At first, it was just a small shadow on the moon. Then more appeared. Lights, lines, shapes not made by humans. The world watched in silence as giant alien ships came into orbit. They made no sound, no attack. They only waited. People around the world stared at the sky, confused. Some were afraid. Some believed it was fake. Governments tried to contact them. Nothing came back. Then, on the third day, the message arrived. Every screen on Earth turned black. Every radio stopped. Phones went silent. Then a deep, cold voice echoed across every device. This message is for the leaders of Earth. You stand before the Thalrex Dominion. Your species is small, weak, unworthy. The voice paused. You have 7 cycles. Kneel to the Dominion. Accept our rule, or be removed from existence. The message ended. Silence returned. People screamed. Others prayed. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke, but it was real. The ships above the Earth were real, and they were not alone. Thousands more were behind them, across the stars. Inside, a hidden bunker beneath the mountains of Norway, Earth's leaders gathered. It was the first time all major nations sat in one room since the old world wars. President Halden from Europa spoke first. We cannot fight them. Look at their size. Look at their power. General Lee of New Asia slammed his hand on the table. And if we kneel, what then? We become slaves. Toys for their games? An old voice spoke from the shadows. It was Dr. Elena Rivas, once head of Earth's Deep Space Signal Division. She hadn't spoken to the Council in years. We have heard this voice before, she said quietly. Everyone turned to her. What do you mean? Asked President Halden. Dr. Rivas pulled up a file. The screen showed an old, broken signal. 10 years ago, we picked up a strange message. It was buried in the background noise of deep space. We decoded it, piece by piece. She clicked the screen. A message played. It was the same voice, same words, but the message was sent not to Earth, but to another planet, a planet called Virulon, and that world no longer existed. They were told to kneel, Rivas said. They didn't, and the Dominion erased them. A map lit up. Star system now marked dead zone. No life. No life. They mean what they say, she finished. General Lee leaned back. His eyes burned with quiet fire. Then maybe we make them mean it harder. Everyone looked at him. You want to fight? Asked Halden. That's madness. We have no chance, Lee said. We have one. He opened a locked file and placed a black cube on the table. This is Project Revenant. Dr. Rivas stepped forward. That project was shut down. Too dangerous. Lee nodded. Yes, because it worked. With a quiet hum, the cube opened a hologram. It showed a human body, tall, armored, enhanced, not just a soldier, a weapon. This man was lost in the Mars uprising 20 years ago, Lee said. We rebuilt him, reprogrammed him. He doesn't feel fear, doesn't need sleep. He was designed for one purpose, to kill gods. The room went still. President Halden stared at the projection. If we do this, there's no turning back. No, Lee said. There isn't. Outside, the alien ships still waited. Above every city, they floated like shadows. Day 1 passed. Day 2 came and went. On day 3, Earth sent no reply. On day 4, the Dominion voice returned. You delay. Is this weakness or defiance? On day 5, the first Earth ship launched. Small, fast. Alone, inside it was Project Renand. No humans knew where it was going. Only a few in the bunker had clearance. Dr. Rivas watched the launch and whispered, He's not just a weapon. He's a message. General Lee answered without turning. Then let's hope they read it clearly. Day 6 began. The world waited. The stars watched. The Thalrex. Dominion had given Earth a choice. Earth had made its own. The war room was hidden deep under the old mountains of Iceland. Long ago, it was a bunker for cold wars and secret meetings. Now, it held the most important voices on Earth. They called it the Council of Ash. Why that name? because everything above it had already turned to ash. It was day 6 since the alien threat the ultimatum. The sky was still filled with the Dominion warships. Humanity had one day left to kneel or die. Inside the bunker, the leaders of the world argued. President Halden stood, his hands shaking slightly. This is not a war we can win. We must survive, even if it means surrender. Survival, growled General Lee. That's not survival. That's slavery. Prime Minister Zoya from the South Nations spoke next. We have no idea what kneeling means. They may let us live peacefully. No, they won't, said a quiet voice from the back. It was Commander Asha Ren, one of the few humans who had seen the Dominion ships up close. She had led Earth's defense scans for years. She stepped forward. Her face was tired, her eyes sharp. They don't want peace. They want fear, control. They erase entire planets. I saw the remains of Theros Prime. It was once full of life. Now it's a glass desert. One warning was given. One word, kneel. She placed a hologram projector on the table. Psst. The lights dimmed. Room filled with screams. The projection showed a peaceful alien city, bright, beautiful. Then it showed the Dominion fleet, then fire. Buildings turning to dust, skies breaking apart, people running, people falling. The footage ended in silence. Some leaders looked away, others whispered prayers. They don't offer peace, Asha said. They offer silence. General Lee stood again. Then we must be louder. President Halden shook his head. And how? With our old missiles? Our aging satellites? You saw their fleet? They could end us in minutes. Lee nodded. That's why we don't fight their way. He pulled up a second hologram. This one showed schematics, energy waves, ancient data. The Revenant is already on his way to them. But that's only the first step. What are you talking about? Asked Zoya. There's a signal buried in the Dominion's code, Lee said. One of our deep space teams found it last night. It's not theirs. It's human. That made the room go. Still, how? Halden whispered. Dr. Rivas entered the room again, carrying a worn datapad. The signal is over 3,000 years old. Predates all known space travel, but it was definitely sent from Earth. She clicked the pad. A voice played. Old, damaged, but clear enough to understand. They will return. When they do, remember. This Earth does not kneel. The voice ended. Static remained. They knew, Riva said. Whoever sent this. They knew the Dominion would come again. So we've been warned before, Zoya said. No, Rivas replied. We were promised. General Lee turned to the council. This is not just about survival. This is about memory, about legacy. The Dominion wants to erase us, but if we kneel now, we erase ourselves. No one spoke for a while then. Commander Asha said, Let's give the Revenant time, distract them, confuse them, show we're not afraid. Agreed, said Lee, and we activate the deep defense grid, the one buried under the old cities. President Halden looked around. He was outnumbered. And deep down, he no longer believed surrender would save them. Very well, he said at last. We fight. Outside, the world didn't know about the Council of Ash, but something had. Changed cities began to darken their lights. Military bases went silent. Old machines deep under the ground powered on for the first time in decades. The Dominion fleet noticed the shift, and on day 6, they sent one more message. You have one cycle left. This is your final chance. Earth didn't reply. Instead, they aimed their oldest satellite toward the Dominion fleet. Played only one word on every frequency. Denied. The countdown continued. The chamber was silent. Cold lights glowed above a metal tank. Inside, a man floated in thick blue liquid. His body was covered in scars, wires, and armor plates. His eyes were closed. But his heart, half machine, half human, still beat. Was not an ordinary man. This was Project REVEN, ANT, far beneath the surface of Antarctica. In a facility erased from every map, Earth's secret weapon waited. Dr. Mara Kane stood in front of the tank. Her hands trembled slightly. she had worked on this project for 20 years. Most people thought it had failed. Some believed it was a myth, but now he was Earth's last hope. General Lee entered the room. His uniform was wet from melted ice. He had flown in under full blackout orders. No satellites, no transmissions. Nothing that could reveal this place. "Is he ready?" Lee asked. Dr. Kane looked at the screen. "His systems are stable. Memories are still ... broken, but his body remembers." Lee stared into the tank. "He doesn't need memories. He just needs purpose." Dr. Kane hesitated. He was human once, a soldier, a hero. Then they destroyed him, rebuilt him, but what came back is not the same. "Good," Lee said. "We don't need the man. We need the monster." She pressed a button. The blue liquid began to drain. Alarms blinked softly. The figure inside twitched. His fingers moved. First. Then his eyes opened cold silver. Glowing faintly, Project Revenant was awake. 5 hours later, deep in a hidden launch hangar, Revenant stood in silence. He wore dark battle armor, fused directly into his bones. His spine was made of titanium. Thread, his heart beat with artificial plasma, but his face still looked human. A young technician stepped forward nervously. "Sir, the drop pod is ready." Revenant didn't speak. He simply walked forward and entered the pod. Dr. Kane stood at the side. "Do you understand your mission?" "Yes," Revenant said. His voice was calm. "It's too calm. You'll be alone. Out there, no backup, no return." He looked at her. Was I ever not alone? She had no answer. The pod closed around him. Countdown began. 10, ... 9, ... 8, ... Outside, a launch tunnel opened in the ice. Fire lit the skies. The pod shot upward like a bullet, breaking through Earth's atmosphere and vanishing into the void. In the black of space, Revenant opened. His eyes, the Dominion fleet was close. He didn't care. His mission was simple. Get aboard one of their dreadnoughts. Find their command. Break their will. He remembered nothing of his old life. Not his name, not his family. Only fragments of screams, war, and death. That was enough. Inside him, weapon systems activated. His mind synced with targeting data. Artificial. Thoughts whispered in his head. "Kneel," they had said. He smiled. "Break," he replied. Meanwhile, in the Dominion command ship, alarms began to flash. A small object was approaching at impossible speed. Too small to be a ship. Too fast to be a drone. Admiral Exavon frowned. "Is that ... human technology?" The officer replied, "Primitive, but controlled. And it's heading straight for us. Destroy it." Dozens of plasma cannons turned. They fired. The stars lit up with fire. The pod vanished into the flames. "Silence. Target destroyed," officer said. But the admiral kept watching. Then a new signal appeared. The object had changed direction mid-blast. It was still coming. And now it was faster. One last image showed up on their screen before it crashed into the hull. A face, half human, half machine. Eyes glowing, and a smile. The Dominion dreadnought shook violently. Lights failed. Its power flickered. Inside the ship, Dominion soldiers ran to their posts, but it was too late. Revenant was already inside. He moved like a shadow. Guns roared from his arms. His body cut through metal. His steps echoed like thunder. Dominion warriors attacked him. He tore through them like paper. One screamed, "What is this?" Revenant answered with bullets and silence. Back on Earth, General Lee watched the silent stars. No signal. No message. No news. Then a short burst arrived. One word only. Landed. Lee smiled. The monster had reached them, and Earth had just fired its first shot. The stars above Dominion space were quiet. Too quiet. For centuries, no one had ever dared enter this sector without permission. Entire civilizations had vanished trying. Dominion space was sacred, untouchable, the heart of the Empire, and now Something was bleeding inside it. Inside the flagship Varkalin, alarms screamed. Bodies lay scattered in the hallways. Walls were torn, doors melted. Blood green and thick dripped. From the ceiling, the creature moved fast, too fast. Revenant stormed through the corridors. Like a storm made of blades and fire, bullets flew from his arms. His mind was synced to the ship's systems. Every camera, every lock, every weakness, he saw it all. He didn't stop, he didn't speak, he only destroyed Dominion guards tried to stop him. Had plasma axes and golden armor? It didn't matter. He broke bones like sticks, tore armor like cloth. A commander aimed a pulse cannon. I am Thalrex born. You cannot. Revenant's fist crushed his chest before he finished the sentence. On the bridge, Admiral. Exavan stared at the destruction on the screens. Send everything we have. But Admiral Agard said, voice shaking, he's just one. One human? No, Exavan growled. He is Earth's answer. Far away, Earth watched in silence. Inside the Council of Ash, General Lee stood. With arms crossed, is the feed live? Yes, replied Commander Asha. We're receiving signals from his implants. Slow but clear. Dr. Rivas adjusted the screen. We shouldn't be seeing this. He shouldn't be surviving this. Lee smiled slightly. That's why we built him. Back on the Dominion flagship, the floor exploded. Revenant dropped into the main engine room. A storm of heat blew around him. Dozens of Dominion soldiers surrounded him. Stand down, one shouted. This is your last Revenant, activated his suit's core. Energy surged from his chest. A blue pulse spread. Across the room, weapons melted, walls cracked, the soldiers screamed. Then silence. Revenant walked over to the control terminal, placed a black cube into the slot. Earth's virus uploaded into the ship. Back doors opened. Data flooded out. Earth was watching in the sky above. Something else moved. A second Earth ship appeared. Smaller, lighter, a drone carrier from its belly. Swarm of tiny black dots dropped. Microdrones, silent, fast, deadly. They flew toward the Dominion fleet, one by one. The Dominion ships began to fail. Engines died. Weapons shut down. Shields blinked out. The fleet that once ruled the stars was blind. Admiral Exavan stood on the collapsing bridge. Flames licked the walls. Sparks fell like rain. He stared at the man now walking toward him. Revenant, you're just a man, he shouted. You can't win. Revenant stopped, standing in the flames. No, he said. I'm the first. Then he pulled the trigger. The flagship exploded from Earth. People saw it as a bright flash in the night sky. A star, ... Dying, the first Dominion warship. Destroyed in centuries, by one human. General Lee stepped forward to the council. The first strike is complete, he said. President Halden, once the voice of surrender, whispered, We actually hit them, said Lee. We hurt them. Outside, the Dominion ships began to regroup. More were coming, bigger, deadlier. But now they were alert. Now they were angry. And Earth was no longer a whisper. It was a war cry. The sky above Earth changed again, not with hope. With fire. After the first Dominion warship was destroyed. The stars didn't stay silent. They screamed. Dozens of new ships entered orbit, twice as big, 10 times more deadly. They had only one goal now: punish Earth, on the third day after Revenant's strike. The Dominion answered. It began in the skies over Asia. A giant beam fell from orbit. No warning. No light, just impact. An entire city vanished in less than 2 seconds. 15 million lives were gone. No screams, no time, just ash. The world froze. People stopped moving. Nations stopped talking. Children looked up and no longer asked questions. They just cried. This was the price of defiance. Inside the Council of Ash, silence filled the war room. No one could speak. Dr. Rivas stared at the satellite images, her hand over her mouth. They didn't even speak before they struck. Commander Usha's fists were clenched. They wanted us to kneel. Now they want us to bleed. General Lee's voice was calm but cold. Then let them bleed too. President Halden stood slowly. His voice was no longer weak. Did we hit them where it hurt? Lee nodded. Yes, the Revenant didn't just damage a ship. We broke their pride. That's why they hit us back like this. Asha looked at him. Do we have anything left to strike again? Lee turned toward the screen. Not yet. Will, around the planet, something strange began to happen. Instead of fear, something else spread. Anger, all across Earth. People stood in the ruins but did not run. Rescue teams worked without sleep. Soldiers from every nation joined hands. Borders meant nothing now. Only survival mattered. The Dominion thought Earth would beg instead. Earth began to rise. In the hills outside, what was once the city of New Dushan, a little girl stood next to the crater where her home had been. She was covered in dust. Her eyes were hollow. A soldier kneeled beside her, holding out a flag. The girl did not speak. She only raised the flag high with shaking hands. Across the world, that image spread. Earth had bled, but it had not fallen. In orbit, Dominion Command prepared a second strike. Admiral Shirak, brother of the fallen Exovan, stood in his throne of stone and steel. They kill one of ours. We kill millions, he said. That is balance. His officers were quiet. One of them finally spoke. But Admiral, they are not kneeling. They are organizing. Fast. What of it? He hissed. They are not afraid. Back on Earth, General Lee activated a new program, Echo Fury. Old weapons were pulled from hidden bunkers. Orbital satellites thought dead were reactivated. And beneath the Atlantic Ocean, a secret base lit up for the first time in 40 years. Inside, the blueprints for something bigger than any weapon Earth ever built. Something made not for defense, but for vengeance. Lee looked at the screen. They made us bleed. Now they will understand why humans survive hell. Project Revenant was still alive. His signal was weak, but moving. He had escaped the blast of the Dominion flagship. Now, deep in enemy space, he was crawling through wreckage, hunted alone, broken, but not dead. And he was still sending one word, over and over again. More. Back at the council, President Halden looked over the reports. The weight of every lost life rested on his shoulders. He whispered, was it worth it? Lee didn't blink. Only if we finish what we started. Rivas turned from the window. We can't keep paying in blood. We need something bigger, something final. Lee nodded slowly, yes. We need to strike their world. Everyone froze. Asha said, their homeworld. That's suicide. No, Lee said. That's justice. In the night sky, Earth's lights glowed dimmer but burned hotter. The Dominion had punished Earth, but they had made one mistake. They had reminded humanity what it meant to fight with nothing left to lose. And that ... was the price they would now pay. The Alien Council floated above the crystal floor. 13 races, 13 rulers. All silent now. On the giant screen, a single human stood. His face was calm, his eyes cold, his voice steady. You have one. Day, return our people, or we come. The transmission ended. The room stayed quiet. The Grok's ambassador finally spoke. His voice buzzed with arrogance. Empty threats. Humans don't command fleets. They beg alliances. The Zari Queen clicked. Her mandibles. Have you seen the footage from the Zarn battle? They tricked a rookie fleet, the Grok spat. Nothing more. The room's lights dimmed. New footage appeared on the screen, leaked by the humans themselves. A camera on a dying cruiser showed a human warship surrounded by enemy vessels. Then, the warship moved fast. Too fast, too fast. It tore through enemy ships like they were paper, plasma and steel ripped apart. Engines exploded. Gravity wells shattered. The human ship didn't stop. It kept moving, cutting through layers of defense. Even when hit by 6 torpedoes, it turned targeted, kept firing. The footage ended with a single image, a black human vessel hovering above a burning world. Silence returned. This time, felt heavier. The Kalari ambassador leaned forward. What kind of ship was that? No known model, answered the tech analyst. It didn't register on any of our scanners. Stealth-coded, energy-shielded. It moved like it ignored inertia. Possible, the Grok said, but his voice was unsure now. Yet it happened. The Zari Queen snapped. Another hologram lit up. It showed Earth's defenses. Hundreds of orbiting platforms, strange weapon designs, a new type of ion field none could identify. Ships docked at orbital rings bigger than any standard cruiser, each one black as night. The humans were not bluffing. One day before they launched, the problem was no one even knew how many ships Earth had now. No alien spy ever returned, not alive. The last message from the infiltrators just said, "They know we're here. They are smiling." And then nothing. The Grand War Chief stood. "We still outnumber them? 12,000 ships?" "They beat the Zarn with 2, someone muttered. The War Chief ignored it. "We must stand united, show strength." The screen buzzed again. Another human appeared. A woman this time. Her uniform was dark gray. Her badge said, "Fleet Commander Adira Wren." Her message was shorter than the last. "You stole from us. You killed our diplomats. You tortured our soldiers. That ends now." She leaned closer. "You have 12 hours. The message cut. This time, no one spoke. The council was no longer divided by species or politics. They were all thinking the same thing. Humanity had changed. They had once been traders, explorers, peace-BRS. Now, they were something else. A species born in chaos, forged in war, and now prepared to bring it to the stars. A soft voice broke the silence. The Sari monk, oldest of all, whispered, "We made a mistake." "Then fix it," the Grand Chief snapped. "How?" the monk asked. "We tried to crush them before. Now they've grown teeth." The doors to the council chamber opened. A messenger ran in. "Urgent report. 3 border systems just went dark. No transmissions. No survivors. Only black smoke and silence." "Humans?" the Queen asked. "Yes. They didn't even respond to hails. Just came and erased." The Zari Queen stood. "We give them what they asked for now, before it's too late." The Groks tried to argue, but others stood with her. The vote was quick. Unanimous: return the prisoners, pay the damages, deliver a galaxy-wide apology. A final attempt to avoid extinction, but it was already too late. A new message came. "No, face this. Time, just a voice. You had your chance. You chose arrogance. Now, we choose war." And all across the stars, Earth's fleets lit up, one by one. Humanity advanced. The stars looked peaceful above. But peace was a lie now. Captain Rhea stood on the command deck of the human dreadnought. Vigilant fury, her eyes stared hard at the hologram in front of her, a message sent straight from the Galactic Council. Their tone was arrogant, cold, as if humanity was just some pest to be warned, not respected. The message said one thing clearly: withdraw from the Varnak sector or face annihilation. Rhea didn't move, didn't blink. Round her, her officers waited in silence. The ship hummed. Systems buzzed. But tension filled the air like smoke. "They really sent an ultimatum," Lieutenant Keller whispered, almost laughing. "Like, we're going to run." Rhea finally spoke. "They don't think we'll fight back." The council believed humans were still weak, still recovering, still broken from the last war, but they were wrong. After decades of silence, Earth had returned, not to beg, not to bow, but to defend what was rightfully theirs. The Varnak sector wasn't just space. It held colonies, human-built, human-raised, 10 million people, families, children, veterans, workers. They had carved cities into ice worlds and deserts. They made life grow in death zones, and now the council wanted it back. "No," Rhea said, her voice like steel. "We don't run. we answer. Hours later, across the galaxy, the council leaders sat in their shining chamber. Gold and crystal walls, loading translators. Pride filled the room. They expected submission. The humans would fold as always. Then the reply arrived. Not a text. Not a video. A signal. When the council had hoped never to hear again. A deep, echoing pulse. A war code old, forgotten by most races, but burned into the history books. Protocol. Hammerfall. The council chamber fell silent. The last time humans sent that code, 3 empires vanished. A small alien ambassador, pale and shaking, turned to the high speaker. Surely this is a bluff. The high speaker didn't answer, because he knew the truth. Humans didn't bluff. Back on Vigilant Fury, orders were given. Fleet dash wide. No more diplomacy. No more waiting. We strike only if they cross the line, Rhea said. But if they touch a single colony, we unleash everything. And humanity had new weapons now. Weapons built in silence. Tested in secret. Project Iron Sun. Project Black. Echo. In the Titan-class warship hidden on Titan's moon. A behemoth even. Earth's allies hadn't seen yet. The council met again in panic. They sent more messages. We didn't mean to provoke. Perhaps negotiations are possible. But it was too late, because one council cruiser, nervous and reckless, had already entered the Varnock sector. They fired on a human mining ship. Just one warning shot. But that was enough, eh? Mother and child died. That was the line. The humans didn't send a second message. They sent judgment. The Vigilant Fury moved first, arriving in orbit like a ghost. Then the rest of the fleet followed. Destroyers, cruisers, black stealth corvettes shaped like knives. And finally, from the shadow of Saturn, the Titan-class warship Oblivion's Gate emerged, 50 kilometers long. Covered in railguns and plasma turrets, its presence warped. Gravity sensors? Even eye mines froze for a second, trying to measure its mass. The human fleet sent one last signal. Before battle, this is not war, this is warning. But the council fleet didn't retreat. They fired. They died. One by one, their ships fell. Not because they were weak, but because they had forgotten what humans were capable of when pushed too far. When it ended, only silence remained. Not one human ship had been destroyed. The Varnock sector was secure. Rhea stood once more on her bridge. Watching debris drift, she didn't smile. Send the council this, she said. Her officer nodded, recording. She looked into the camera. This was your warning. Next time, there will be no survivors. And with that, the message was sent. Across the galaxy, the ultimatum flipped. Now humanity was the one giving it, and the stars would never forget.